Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we are going to study Surah An-Nas, which is the final chapter of the Holy Qur'an from a psychological perspective. Surah An-Nas, in a way, is such a perfect ending to the Holy Qur'an because throughout the Qur'an, Allah is guiding us about the rules, the regulations, what things should be important for us and what things shouldn't be important for us and what things truly deserve our attention. And at the end, He's telling us that even after all of that, Allah is going to be the one eventually protecting us from everything, from the things going out externally in our life and from the things that are bothering us internally, the whispers of the heart. So for the people watching this for the first time, my name is Bilal. I'm a neuro-Islamic coach and a student of Qur'an and neuroscience and psychology. So without further ado, let's go and dive deeply into Surah An-Nas.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس.
Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind, in the Rabb of mankind. Allah uses the word Rabb here because the word Rabb means the one who nurtures, the one who grows and develops not just your external world or physical world, but also nurtures you internally. So in a way, He's telling you to ask for His protection from anything that bothers you, that bothers your world, not just externally but also internally. He's telling you that you are not meant to carry all of this burden of your life by yourself. You're supposed to rely on Him for everything. It's like He's saying, I know the battles inside of you, so come for me for safety. So have you ever felt overwhelmed? And have you ever felt like you're overthinking things or just felt a bit anxious from the situation you've been in and felt like you don't have anybody to rely on? Well, that's exactly the situation Allah's trying to talk about, and that's exactly when we need someone that we could rely on, and that is Rabb. So the next time you're stuck in a situation like that, tell yourself that I have a Lord who protects my heart. Because sometimes the problem is not that the situation is too difficult. The real problem is we don't have anybody to rely on, and Allah, Rabb, fulfills that gap.
ملك الناس.
So Allah is telling us that He's the King of mankind. Why does He say He's the King of mankind, particularly after calling Himself Rabb of mankind? Because He's telling us that He is not just the being who nurtures and who develops and who cares for you, but He is also the one who's the master of everything. He is the one in control of the whole entire world and entire universe, including your heart, including the things that you feel that they're out of your control. So you can rely on someone who's not just nurturing, but who is dependable and who can manage your situation well, and who has enough power to manage your situation well. So when life feels chaotic, now the problem with anxiety is you feel anxious when you feel like you're lacking control. Allah tells us that you don't feel like you're lacking control because you can always depend on a being that has everything in control for you. So the next time whenever you feel like you're lacking that control and you're feeling chaotic, just remind yourself that Allah is Malik Nas. He has everything in His control, and because He is your Rabb, you can entirely rely on Him.
إله الناس.
Allah is saying the God of mankind. Now here, the word Ilah doesn't just mean God. The word Ilah means someone who is worthy of your worship, someone who is worthy of your submission, and therefore someone who is worthy of your purest and deepest attachment. Many emotional struggles come from a misplaced attachment. Now, whenever you attach to Allah very strongly, what that does is that it makes you feel more connected to Allah instead of other people. And therefore, when people don't fall on your expectations, when they disappoint you on your expectations, you don't feel as bad, because they're not the ones you're closely attached to the most. The one that you're closely attached to the most is Allah, and Allah is a deity that never disappoints you. And so in that way, Allah is saying, come back to me, because I am the one your heart depends on. So when you feel spiritually empty or emotionally disconnected, turn your heart back to Allah, because that's where your heart is supposed to be. Turn your heart back to Him through dua, dhikr, gratitude, and sometimes just being vulnerable in front of Him. Just cry in front of Him, because that's what the Prophet ﷺ taught us to do. He used to cry loads and loads in front of Allah in his du'as, in his prayers, in his supplications. Why? Because he was trying to be vulnerable in front of Allah. And sometimes when we miss out on that vulnerability, when we're not vulnerable enough in front of Allah, we tend to suppress our emotions more. And if we suppress our emotions in front of Allah, we're not able to bridge that gap. We're not able to rely on Him completely. We're not able to have that bond, that attachment with Him completely. And that's what He's teaching us, to be able to rely on Him entirely. So I repeat, suppressing emotions is not psychologically beneficial. Allah is actually telling us otherwise. Allah is telling us to be emotionally vulnerable in front of Him, to have that secure bond, secure attachment with a being who is truly reliable and dependable. So attach your heart to Allah in all your highs and lows.
من شر الوسواس الخناس.
From the evil of the whisperer who withdraws. Now, over here, Allah is telling us that any thought that we have is not purely defining who we are, because He's telling us the thought is coming from shaitan. He's telling us that these self-doubts, these guilt spirals, and these anxiety loops, they're often coming from shaitan, and he is actually strategizing against you for it. Now, the way to stop it is by stopping reinforcing it. And the first step towards stopping that reinforcement is that you acknowledging that these thoughts are not your own voice. These are not the thoughts that define you or who you are. Allah is actually acknowledging that these are actually not your voices. These are shaitan's voices. So don't believe in these voices. When you start reinforcing these thoughts and start believing in these thoughts, these self-doubts, that's when you're actually making them affect you. So you have that choice. Don't let these thoughts reinforce your self-identity. So the next time you encounter such whispers, tell yourself, this is just a whisper, not the truth. And then try to reinforce that Allah validates that these harmful thoughts are not from you.
الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس.
Who whispers into the chests of mankind. It's so interesting that Allah used the word chests instead of hearts, because hearts are deeper, chests are on the surface. Allah tells us that these negative thoughts, these are not what define you, because they are on the surface. They are just something that you encounter, and then you choose whether to let it define you or not. So don't feel guilty for your intrusive thoughts, because they're not a sign for your weak faith or bad character at all. Allah actually tells us that it's not the thoughts that you encounter, but it's about how you respond to those thoughts.
من الجنة والناس.
So Allah is saying from among the jinn and the mankind. So what He means here is that it's not just a shaitan that makes you think these negative thoughts, but sometimes it's also the people around you. He acknowledges the fact that even among people, there are people who would make you feel negative about yourself. There are people who would make your attention go to places where you don't want your attention to be. But that doesn't define you. And He is asking us to ask for His protection, not just from shaitan, but also from those people. Because Allah not just protects us from shaitan, He protects us also from the people. So whenever, in whatever situation you may be, whenever you feel like this is a bit too much for me, I'm a bit overwhelmed, whether it's your own intrusive thoughts or thoughts from other people around you, always remember you can rely on Allah for that. So here's a summary of what we learned today. Number 1, your heart is vulnerable, and that's why Allah Himself becomes your protector. Number 2, your thoughts are not always your own. Some are just whispers from the shaitan meant to mislead you, and Allah validates that. Number 3, Allah wants you to know that your inner world matters to Him. Number 4, He doesn't just protect you from the unseen or your self-doubts, but He also protects you from the harm that's caused by people. So the next time you're reciting Surah An-Nas, always remember what Allah means by this. Our mission is not just to help you change your mindset and give you any form of therapy, but it is to help you become a better Muslim through understanding yourself better, through understanding Islam better, through integrating better habitual practices in your life, and finally, to make your bond with Allah so strong that you can always rely on Him. And eventually, you don't need your therapist, you don't need your coach, you can entirely feel dependent and reliant on Allah for everything. So if you found this psychological and neuroscientific explanation of the Qur'an interesting or beneficial, then visit our website, neuroislamiccoaching.com, where we help you one-to-one to understand your life and your own neuroscientific circumstances, how your brain's currently working, how your habits are defining you currently, and help you change your habits and your brain's processing to match it to what Allah is teaching us in the Qur'an. If you need such guidance and one-to-one support, then visit the website and book a session. And finally, until our next video, take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.